Wow, this is starting to escalate pretty fast. So LeBron James so far with the Los Angeles Lakers has been preaching patience, saying things like Rome wasn't built overnight, and that he knows that this is exactly what he signed up for and it's going to be a long process. And the thing is, he was saying stuff like this just after their previous loss to the San Antonio Spurs, but after a loss to the dysfunctional Minnesota Timberwolves last night, I guess that might have been enough for LeBron James, as he's singing a completely different tune right now. As it seems like for LeBron James, his patience with the Los Angeles Lakers and their young players and them not winning games is starting to go really thin, as he was quoted saying this after their most recent loss.
You probably don't want to be around when my patience run out. I'm serious. We got to get better. We know that. We talk about patience, but we can't have reoccurrence of the same thing. I think if you doing the same things over and over and over and expecting a different result, then that's insanity. So we have to we have to continue. We have to get better. We can't keep having the same mistakes over and over.
In other words, he basically said this team isn't any further along in the development process than when we started training camp 4 or 5 weeks ago. However, I do like the fact here that LeBron James is saying he's not pointing fingers at anyone specifically. He's including himself as part of the problem, because even though he's LeBron James, and I haven't hated on him once in his career, except maybe in the 2011 finals when he deserved it, LeBron James is definitely part of the problem here. Look, LeBron James is LeBron James and he will always be LeBron James, but right now he needs to freaking be LeBron James. He needs to be the best player in the NBA. That's exactly what the Los Angeles Lakers need. Right now it seems as if he's trying to be out of the way and not just dominate games like he did for Cleveland and Miami. Look, we get it, LeBron. You don't want this to be your team. You don't want to steal the thunder away from the young players, and you want the young guys to be able to develop. But the bottom line is, you are LeBron James. You're still supposed to be the best player in the league right now, one of the greatest of all time. You gotta be the one to take over these games and close out the games, like against the Spurs and the Wolves, and stop relying on the other people to try and close out the games for you. If you want to teach the young guys how to win games, then go out there and show them how to win games. Win a few games on your own if that's what you have to do. And also, as for the Lakers being pretty bad on the defensive end, that has to start with you too. If you want to see other guys play defense, you gotta start playing some defense yourself, LeBron. You always talk about how for the Lakers, their defense is going to start their offense. Their defense is going to fuel their offense. You're gonna get stops, force turnovers, and then push the pace. Well, if you want the team to do that, why don't you start doing it a few times too? Gotta lead by example. If the other guys on the team don't see you, LeBron James, the best player in the universe right now, out there competing on the defensive end, they're not gonna compete at the defensive end either. That being said, I'm not trying to put all of the blame on LeBron James here. I'm not saying that the Lakers 2-5 start to the season is solely on LeBron James, because that would be insanity, and I'm sorry if I made it come off like that. LeBron has still been the best player for the Lakers so far, but just because he's LeBron James, it doesn't exempt him from the situation that the Lakers are in. He's still partly to blame here. Speaking of blame though, Lonzo Ball, what the heck are you doing out there? What are you doing? The last 2 games, you have done absolutely nothing for the Los Angeles Lakers. Maybe if you would have done something, the Lakers would have won both these games. They're really close games, so they could use all the contribution they could, but you really didn't do anything, Lonzo. And I get it. The guy has intangibles, right? That's what a lot of people say, that it's the intangibles that he does on the basketball court. But here's the thing. You can do all the intangibles that you want, but I need to see some intangibles out there too. 25 minutes on the court last night, and you come up with 4 points, 1 rebound, and 1 assist? What are you doing out there? I mean, Luke Walton probably could have laced up and done more for the team than that. But, it's 2 bad games. I'm not saying it's all 100% Lonzo Ball's fault either, but if you would have helped, that would have been great. So yeah, overall, this Lakers team, of course, it has some issues that they're going to need to work out. It's still really early on into the season, but they had better start making some progression to working out some of these kinks before LeBron James loses his temper, or don't, because I actually want to see what LeBron James might be like when he loses his temper with his Lakers team. And again, just thinking about it, if I was LeBron James, I think I'd be pretty upset right now too, because I see everything that's going on with the Lakers and my team and how we're struggling so much, and then I look over across the state at the Golden State Warriors, a team that's been a thorn in his side for the past 4 seasons, and see what's going on over there. Like, the grass is a heck of a lot greener on that side of the fence. I feel some type of way too, because right now, the Golden State Warriors, they seem like they're playing better than I've ever seen them play before, but at the same time, I don't even think they're trying yet, which is extremely scary. Like, extremely scary. It's not about to be fair for whatever team has to go against them in the NBA Finals this year, I'll tell you that right now. Think about this. Throughout the first 7 games for the Golden State Warriors season, they didn't even need Klay Thompson, one of the best shooters that the NBA has ever seen. They didn't need him. He could have stayed at home. He could have went back to China and did his thing in China for a few more months until the NBA Finals got here. Maybe in the NFL this entire season, they probably don't even need Klay Thompson to win at all. Let's just keep it 100% real here. With the way that Kevin Durant and Stephen Curry have been playing, those guys have been playing outside of their mind. So really, yeah, they haven't needed Klay Thompson so far. And that's a guy who on most teams would be the #1 option on offense. He'd be their main go-to scorer, and if he ever had an off night, that team would be in a lot of trouble. That's a Klay Thompson we're talking about here. One of the best shooting guards in the NBA. Once again, one of the best shooters the NBA has ever seen. When the guy gets hot, the game is over. Like, he can get hotter than Stephen Curry. And that's scary to say. So the luxury of not even needing a player like that at all, it's insane. The man broke Steph Curry's record for most threes in a game last night. It was 13. Curry set that record last year, and now it's 14, as Klay Thompson did that last night against the Chicago Bulls. The poor Chicago Bulls, man. Like, I feel bad for y'all because the Warriors literally turned last night into a game of let's make Klay Thompson break Stephen Curry's shooting record. And even still, the score was what, like 100-50 at halftime. Why do teams not have the option to throw in the towel? Because I know there was just 100% dead silence in that Bulls locker room at halftime, and you can't blame them. What could there possibly be left to say? What would you say if you were a coach to your team that's losing by 50 points at halftime to the Golden State Warriors? What possibly do you say in that situation? If I'm honest, I'm not saying anything up until it's time to start the second half. And then when I'm starting the second half, here's my exact message to that team. Let's get this over with. No fouls, no timeouts. We're making these 24 minutes go by as fast as we possibly can. Just end the game. And not to mention, this was on the Bulls' home court too. That's extra tough. Not gonna lie, I thought the Bucks were going to lose this game. With the Raptors without Kawhi Leonard, but Milwaukee was also without Giannis Antetokounmpo, and I thought the depth of the Raptors was really going to be enough to overwhelm the Bucks last night, and I was wrong. And so, man, Milwaukee, they might be even more serious threat in the East than I have been giving them credit for. They legit might be able to upset either the Raptors or the Celtics in the playoffs. Look, I still don't think that I'll bet on that yet, but I am beyond impressed by what I am seeing out of this team at the moment. 124-109, the Bucks win. Guys across the board were stepping up for Milwaukee as they are now the last remaining undefeated team in the NBA. Why do I get the feeling that Greg Popovich would kill to be able to coach Luka Doncic? Like, why do I feel if he had the power to steal any player from any other team in the league, that it would be Luka Doncic, especially after last night, as Luka had the best game of his career so far against the Spurs. The Rookie of the Year race is going to be really close here between he and Ayton, as he dropped 31 points to go along with 8 rebounds. The kid hasn't even fully adjusted to the NBA game yet, but still plays like someone who has such a great understanding and feel for the game. He's gonna be so scary as he continues to get older and wiser. But regardless of his great performance yesterday, DeMar DeRozan and the Spurs were just a bit better, as San Antonio gets the 113-108 overtime win over Dallas behind DeMar DeRozan and his 34 points, 9 assists, and 6 rebounds. Yeah, this was a must-win game for the Nuggets. Really couldn't afford to lose to the Pelicans, who were without Anthony Davis still. Anyways, props to New Orleans though for actually at least trying to make a game out of this one though, but still Denver gets the 116-111 win over New Orleans. Jamal Murray and Gary Harris both scoring 23. Now, I have been trying to hold off on this so far this season, saying what I'm about to say about the Sacramento Kings, and even still, I wanted to see a lot more out of them before I come to any major conclusion here, but I will now point out that they aren't looking that bad so far this year. They're nothing special or amazing or anything like that, but they haven't looked bad at all either. Matter of fact, they're on the verge of looking pretty good. And there have been three main guys at the helm of the season for the Kings thus far. De'Aaron Fox, who is looking like he's about to be a candidate for most improved player of the year. Man is averaging 18 points and 7 assists while shooting the ball really well too. Buddy Hield, who is finally knocking down some shots on a consistent basis. It's about time. And Willie Cauley-Stein, and this is a guy who I had written off to at best become a good backup center in the NBA, but so far he's proving like he could be a good starting center in the NBA, averaging 18 points and 9 rebounds. Look, the Kings have impressed me so far as they beat the Heat 123-113. They are now 4-3 on the year. The Sixers did exactly what they were supposed to do yesterday, destroyed the Hawks 113-92, and Markelle Fultz is looking better and better with each passing game. I'd say that he played his most comfortable game by far yesterday, attempted 5 threes, which is a great sign, even though he only made one, because if he is taking them, that means he's now feeling comfortable enough and thinks that he can make them. And the sooner he can start knocking those shots down and become the player that he was supposed to be out of college, the better for Philly, since the Sixers really need that one guy who can make plays for himself from anywhere on the court, but at the same time make plays for others. That has to become Fultz's job eventually. 16 points and 7 rebounds for Fultz last night though. Zach Collins deserves to start for the Blazers. He really does. I don't know if they need to start him at the 4 or the 5. I think he can play the 5. Actually, I know he can play the 5. He's tall enough. He's got the defensive abilities to guard the paint, and he just make a really good new age starting center for Portland in my opinion, and he has consistently been one of the Blazers' best players so far this year. Man never has a bad game, turning out to be another great player from last year's draft class. 17 points and 7 of 10 shooting from the field for him as the Blazers get the 103-93 win over Indiana. And lastly, the Knicks beat the Nets 115-96. Tim Hardaway Jr. with 25. That is going to bring us to today's player of the day though, where you guys have the opportunity to vote for who you think was the best player in the NBA last night by clicking the little eye icon in the top right hand corner of the video. Just remember though, the only players whose team won are eligible to win player of the day, and yesterday of course that player was Rudy Gobert and his 23 points, 16 rebounds and 3 blocks. That is gonna do it for today though guys. Hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead and subscribe to the channel with post notifications turned on so you can stay up to date with everything that goes on in the NBA on a daily basis. Thank you once again for watching though. You guys already know that you are the real MVPs, and until tomorrow, I am out of here. Peace!